Alright, well, a few changes have been made to the Edric deck, but the first 7 games I've got recorded here were prior to those changes. The last one is actually the fully updated version. But I thought they were interesting games, so we'll just go ahead and go through them. And then at the end I'll bring up the deck list. So stick around for that if you're interested. I also try to explain why the changes were made. Anyway, so here I was playing against Rune of the Hidden Realm. Looks like a mulligan hand to me. I have a great one here. So first turn I waste his Crow's and Verge in order to buy time. I'm looking for one more card so I can flip Arayo. He gets a Soul Ring. And there's the card I need. So the trick is not playing my Soul Ring. It's really weird here, because you know, you want to get your mana down, but patience rewards careful planning. And here it is. Arayo flipped. And my opponent, who's probably never seen a flipped Arayo, casts Skyshroud Claim, takes time to read the card, and gives up. So I guess that was game 1. I'm not really sure why I included that, other than the fact that it was a little bit fun, and just kind of shows that sometimes it's best to not go with your first instincts. So anyway, here's a mulligan. And excuse me, this looks like a keeper. So turn 1 Jiraga. Opponent gets a Dimer, and I get level up Scrib, tap, pod, activate pod, kill Scrib, fetch, Viridian Shaman, go. Seems like a good turn too. And then Arch Druid, and I fetch a Glen, and he gives up, I guess. Since this is going to double negate him, it's probably too harsh. Arch Druid is one of the cards that's actually been cut. It's very it's proven to be very difficult because he conflicts with Edric at the casting cost that you want to be using him, and he tends to only produce a lot of mana when you've already got an abundance of other mana sources. Unlike Priest, who can actually feed off your opponent's creatures. So take a look at this. First turn, my opponent plays a Wasteland on my land and a Mox Diamond. So he comes with a fast early start, but I have the disruption for him, turning it around. And then I get a Growth Chamber, and he plays Strip Mine. So one hell of a start on his side of the board. So alright, game on. And I get turn 2 Sylvan Ranger. Well, not really turn 2, but... And then I figure I might as well just trade the Sylvan with this guy. I could have left it there to try to play Edric, but decided, I guess, that I would rather play this yet again card that I have cut. And if it were the other card, even in this situation, it would be better. The card that I've replaced it with is the Simic Signet. So I would have been able to play Signet Hatchling there, or Signet or Io. Most likely Hatchling. So anyway, he takes my remand out of my hand. I just play Hatchling at Io. For whatever reason, I guess he gives up. I have no idea why he gave up so easily there, but yeah, he's probably just going to throw a Oracle to his Nezumi, most likely, and then cast Edric and refill my hand, or draw a couple of cards and then cast Orb. So here was the game against Leon and Canaday. It's funny, but that last guy, he played me twice. He actually ended up playing me like 4 or 5 times, and then on the 5th one, he got... And on one of them, he got first turn Skull Clamp. No, he got Skull Clamp and Bitter Blossom going with either a Soul Ring or a Mana Vault, and lost. And then the very next time we play, he gets first turn land, Mana Vault, Skull Clamp, Bitter Blossom, and finally wins. And then he never plays me again. It was funny. It was like, just keep playing until you get something broken and I don't have the right cards to deal with it. And then you can get your win. So anyway, we're playing this game out here, and obviously, like, good things are happening for me. And then when I saw Shardless Agent, my heart sunk because I figured he was combo and I was about to lose right here. He was going to go get Hypergenesis and just, go crazy. Turns out that's not the case. It's anybody's guess what he's actually playing. I'll take a wild guess and say something not as good as Edric. So anyway, he plays Grawl Turf and passes, and then I decided that what I'm going to do is send both because, I mean, I could have just sent the Viridian here, and then he probably just blocks and trades, but if I send both, he's going to kill my Edric. On the other hand, I'm going to get to draw a card, and I figured that was probably okay, because what I was really hoping to draw is like a forest, and then I just natural order him out of the game. But instead I draw the one thing that I did not want in my hand. So, okay, little setback there. So I go ahead and just transmute for a Rift and say go, since whatever he's about to do is probably going to be pretty good. And ultimately I'm going to probably want the Rift after I cast Terastodon. Sort of a really long-term plan, but at least I have a plan. So bounce this guy and get in there for some damage, some cards for me, and then decide I'm going to regrow Snap. Throw away a couple of lands because I've got a Crucible in my hand. He plays a Bloodbraid and hits a Signet with it. But it is an elf, so send in the team and decide not to snap his commander prior to attacking. Turns out it's pretty cool that I didn't, because I top deck right into Gilded Drake with the one card I drew, taking his commander, making my stuff cheap now, real cheap. He says ouch. Yeah, ouch is what is about to happen here. So luckily he became 7 mana and Snap produced 2 extra, so well, he just recovers pretty quickly with a Restore and a Forest there, getting a Cavern of Souls, and that's nice. But unfortunately for him, I've got Snapcaster, and so what I do is I send in, I cast Snapcaster prior to attacking and then attack. That way if he wants to triple block with elephants, I'm just going to bounce one of them and he won't kill my guys. And because of that, because I did it before combat, he knows this, so he's just going to block with an elephant. I actually don't want Terastodon to die, and I don't want to waste a snap on that. Instead, what I'm going to do is this: snap my own Terastodon back to my hand, and then recast him. Rawr. And then Crucible comes down, and he says his hatred is boundless, well played. So I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, the long-term plan Rift here is getting ready. Also had Oracle Crucible about to get on board there. It's definitely nice. So here I'm playing against Psycho Superman 7, playing Obnixilis, and I've got Sylvan Scrying, which was which ultimately became Signet. Sylvan Scrying ultimately became Chrome Mox, which was the other card that I put back into the deck. Chrome Mox is just too good. It's just too powerful of an enabler, and it belongs in monocolor decks, but it also belongs in a deck that draws as many cards as this one is, and plays as few of lands as this one does, and is as focused on tempo as this one happens to be as well. So he starts out by killing my initial draws or plays, and then makes me discard 2 cards with the Raven's Crime being retraced. So luckily he wasn't able to get all the cards in my hand. and I'm able to get that Crucible down. And I was really hoping he would have crimed me for that last city. Happily trade the city in my hand for one of his mana. So thinking that probably Edric's about to die, I attack and I'm surprised, but I get a card. And then I don't know what's going on over there, but it looks like he's completely out of options. Apparently not. So he goes for murder. He should have played that while I was tapped out. So I'm not going to get any cards here, but it also didn't really set me back the way that he probably would have hoped. He plays Phyrexian Crusader, which is a pretty good blocker against me, of course. But I top deck Court of Calling. So I just say go, and then during his end step, X is 4, and I take his Crusader, and is now a card drawing machine for me. Card, and he gets 2 points of infect. And I go ahead and trinket for a clamp. Clamp my guy. Play even more guys. Move the clamp over to Sora and say go. Ending the turn this way, figuring that the best thing he could possibly do right there is Damnation. If he Damnations, he kills all this stuff. I mean, if he single target kills Sora, then that's not, I mean, I have a clamp on it, so if he Damnations, I'm going to draw 2. He'll sweep all this stuff away, but then I get to start Arbor clamping, and I also would be able to Winter Orb him. Even though I have nothing going, I'm sure that in the next 4 cards that I draw, he would have lost there, so I guess he believed that was the case as well, and probably didn't have Damnation, so he just gave up. So we're playing against Animar, piloted by Krasach. And I thought, for some reason, I was tired and I was looking at this and I thought, that's a forest. So I kept this hand. And I mean, of course you want to keep hands with Mana Crypt in them anyway, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I would have mulliganed it. I really need to get some mana here fast. But Ask and the deck will deliver, it seems, at times. So I go ahead and do that. And he gets his own GT. And I decide I'm not going to attack here. What I'm going to do is keep developing. So go ahead and map for Cradle. And then Cradle gets my Ranger down. I mean, because he doesn't really have a way to attack here, and I figured development now will reward me very soon. But he's got an awesome play. I really wasn't expecting, I forgot about what this could have been, and end up paying for it right here. So Edric comes down, I move the GTA over, and I send this guy and this guy, and he makes me pay for it by blocking and killing my 1/1, who I thought would kill this guy because, you know, GTA would get counters and I would finish it off even if he blocked here. So I end up losing 2 permanents and getting nothing to show for it. His 0/3 block my 2/2. However, I fetch Sylvan and pass because it looks like he's going to be able to mode up here, and I need to refill my hand. And he's got this GTA going, so I need to refill my hand. So I go with, you know, plan B for doing that, Edric being plan A. And draw 3 cards. And look at how good they are. So I recast my commander and send, finding Sword of Feast and Famine. Go ahead and just strip away one of his islands. I gotta basically try to buy myself time here, because active GTA is going to be a real problem real quick. But for whatever reason, instead of equipping it, he tries to develop with a Cobra and doesn't play a land. So I mean, if he had a land, he plays a Cobra, he plays a land, and he equips a GTA, he's in good shape. But without a land, this is terrible. It's not even setting him up for next turn, because now he has to top deck a land for it to do anything. One reason why he's not actually in here. Well, you know, he doesn't work out too well in a 31 land deck. Anyway, so My opponent having all green blockers works for me. So get in there. And he decides he's going to trade his Animar. I thought. But I forgot that GT still had a counter on it. So, oops. 2 misplays in a game. How many can my deck afford, allow me before I lose, right? So, and yet again, I don't slap my scrib into play. I was really distracted at this point. I can't remember what was going on, but yeah, I was making a bunch of misplays. So I try to recover. I mean, I should have a scrib in play because I floated the mana to cast it and everything. Anyway, so he goes and casts Soul of the Harvest, which I counter, and for whatever crazy reason, he gives up right there. I guess because I was going to draw 3 more cards, but I mean, you got active GT. I guess, I don't know. But Sword of Feast and Famine's probably, eating his lunch over there. And surely I would have flipped that Arayo in almost no time. Anyway, I was definitely going to be drawing 5 cards that turn. And he was going to discard 1. And I was going to double my mana. So yeah, I can see him giving up there. Still. So my opponent has Talrand, and I have to mulligan, and then a mulligan again, but I get this. And remember, this is going to be... So, imagine, this has become Chrome Mox. I mean, how much better would this hand be with a Chrome Mox? I'm not really sure. Yeah, it'd probably be better. I don't know. Anyway, so I play Oracle and get an extra land out from my hand. I figured it'd be better to get Oracle down there, and then I've got Edric as a threat, and of course any lands that I hit will just power me up. It also works nicely with sack lands where I can see that I don't want this top card, so I can just shuffle it away. So I do. And find a much juicier target. So down it comes. Oh, I scry. Okay. So then down comes the sword. I guess. No, I guess Edric. So I'm holding the sword. Attack and draw 1, hoping to hit a land. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, so he taps out, and then the swords come down. A couple lands come off the top for free. Play sword, double equip. Smash for 6, kill his Talrand, draw a card, make him discard, play another land off the top, and yeah, that's it. So it's pretty good. Pretty good turn 4 there. And finally, there's this game here, which at this point in the game, at this point in the evening rather, I have my cards properly switched out. So it's not a Sylvan Scrying, it is a Simic Signet, or whatever that other card was that I was using. And I get first turn Boreal Druid, and if you look, it's a doggone good thing that it is a Signet, because I have no blue, although I have map. So I could use map to get blue, but I mean, who wants to do that, right? So, waste his Rupture Spire there while developing my mana base. I definitely am glad that it's not the 3 casting cost elf here, because it'd be stuck in my hand right now. And down comes Tradewind and the map. So after some consideration, I go ahead and fetch Cradle. Probably, I don't know, I could have got stripped there. So I go for Edric and it hits, and that is pretty good. And in the face of never having more than 2 mana for the rest of the game, at least until he finds land that doesn't come into play tapped, he gives up. Of course, little does he know I have much meaner things going here. And truthfully, if he plays a land here, I would have drawn for the turn and attacked with both Edric and Boreal Druid, hope to draw creatures, maybe even just attacked with all 3 and just given him a turn, and then just Ancestral up. And because I have a counter spell, so there's not much he can do anyway. and then tried to develop, and then go back to disrupting him, most likely. So, anyway, good stuff. I can say that, much like Pod, this deck has never played Tradewind Rider and lost, and has played Tradewind Rider quite a few times since I've added it to the deck. The card, it's never had an active Tradewind Rider and lost a game. And Tradewind's been out at least, I've had him play closer to 10 times so far. So chord's been working really nice. Like, everything's just working really smoothly now with this deck, especially with the mana fix of adding Chrome, Mox, and Simic Signet, taking out that Arch Druid. He was just a little too clunky, and there's no room for that. And Chrome Mox is fast, Simic Signet is fast. They both fix mana. When you're sitting there with all forests and blue cards in your hand, you draw Chrome Mox, you're good. So you get. I didn't bring up any of the games where I had Chrome Mox draws, but I had a number of Chrome Mox draws right after I added it, where it was in my opening hand, and I was able to do really, mean things with it, which is what we like. Things anywhere from first turn Hive Master, second turn Edric, to I had a first turn Fairy. First turn Cloud of Fairies, untap my forest, cast one of my mana dorks, and then second turn Edric and draw 2 cards. Had a couple of other pretty awesome plays with it. So yeah, these are the changes. I do hope that you like these videos, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.